Camera's rolling. Let's do it.
We made 1 million in our second year in practice. We're trying to help as many chiropractors and future chiropractors do the same to help as many people as possible. I don't run any ads, so if you enjoy the content, please subscribe and share it with your colleagues and future colleagues to get on the path to victory.
Have to understand how.
Okay, hi Sam.
Hi.
So everyone, this is Samantha Baker. We are so blessed to have you on this podcast today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, yeah, you are welcome. We're honored to be in your presence, and you are just a spitfire. You are somebody who we admire so much. We call you the mayor in town because it seems like everybody knows you. I mean, seriously, the person that we just had interviewing on the podcast even knew you, so never even knew that. But we want to welcome you to our podcast, and I wanted to talk about how we met you originally.
Mm-hmm.
So Alejandro was doing Leadership Abilene,
Mm-hmm.
which is a really cool program that they do here in Abilene, where they take a bunch of basically business people,
Mm-hmm.
get them together, and it's like almost a whole networking thing within and of itself. But it's a 9-month program. Am I right about that?
Pretty much, yeah, 9 to 10 month program.
And you guys do amazing things. They take them to the police station, which is so much more than just that, and they show them, the ins and outs of that. They take you guys to Dyess Air Force Base, which is so cool. You guys flew in a C-130.
C-130.
Which
we won't
is
talk
so cool.
about that.
Yeah, we'll leave that one off the podcast. We had some events go down there, but that's okay. But I wanted you to introduce yourself. Who are you, and what do you do here in Abilene?
Yeah, so I'm Samantha Baker. I'm with First Financial Bank. I'm with the mighty marketing team. There are 4 of us for 79 locations, so
Wow.
we get stuff done.
Yes.
Very proud to be working with that team. I'm the VP of regional marketing and been in Abilene since 2006, graduated from Hardin-Simmons, got sucked into the black hole of Abilene, haven't left. Met my husband, he's an Abilenian, and now we have a 2.5-year-old son and a 4-year-old yellow lab. So, yeah.
So sweet.
Yeah.
I love that. So your role is obviously crucial in First Financial Bank's success, right? Can you talk about maybe how some of your marketing tips could roll over and spill over into other businesses, maybe not just in banks?
Yeah. So, again, our marketing team, we're consisted of 4 people. And so we work together with a lot of regions to kind of help grow in their region as well. And then helping other businesses. The one thing that I've learned and have been taught from working at the bank, I've heard this guy the other day. His name is Jesse Cole. Do you know who Jesse Cole is?
I don't.
So he's the owner of the Savannah Bananas.
Oh, cool.
So this is this fun new minor league baseball team, and he has created this atmosphere of, it's almost like going to a major league game, but they have more entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
So they dance during the middle of the games. So they create this remarkable customer experience.
Yeah.
And he has always said, if you create that type of experience, that atmosphere, your customers will do the marketing for you.
Mm.
And so with us at the bank, we have focused so much on relationships and customer service. We've been trying different initiatives since the early 2000s. And probably back in 2018, we partnered with Horst Schulze, founder of Ritz-Carlton, and he has led us to being one of the top producing of customer service for a financial institution. He's worked with Chick-fil-A, he's worked with other Christian businesses, and he's just been a great tool for us to really push our customer service initiative. And we have these non-negotiable cards that we do.
Okay.
I'll give you one so that you can look at it. This is our culture card that we carry around everywhere with us. It's our 21 non-negotiables.
Love this.
And every day we talk about how we continue to be a servant for our customers, a servant for each other, and a servant for our communities.
Love that.
And it could be something from answering the phone within 3 rings, being available, being present, maintaining those relationships in different aspects, being the excellence in the financial institution. So that's kind of really helped us on how we build our relationships with not only customers, but with our communities.
I love that. And you have highlighted the word relationship so many times in that past answer. You are so good at building relationships because it's not only part of your job, but I just feel like it's naturally who you are. I've heard so many people recently, some of my friends are like, "Oh yeah, Sam Baker, I went to college with her, or I went to high school with her." I've heard that before too.
You have to tell me who, because I don't know anyone.
How do you manage all those relationships? You know so many people. You are really good at personal details. I met you one time, and then the next time I saw you, you were like, "How's Luca?" He's like almost one, right? And you just remember those little things. How are you so good at that? And what advice could you give to somebody to help them who maybe struggles in that area?
It's funny you say that because sometimes my husband says I'm forgetful. So, but I think it depends on which environment I'm in. If I'm in a professional mode or in personal home mode. So, I really have to give it. I'm a very driven person, but I'm also a very people person. I love meeting new people. I love finding out information about them. I think when I want to build a relationship with someone, I want them to get to know who I am, but I also want to be interested in that person.
Right. Yep.
We always tell, when we go and talk to these college students and we teach them about networking techniques, we tell them, be the one that's interested, not interesting.
Yes.
And so I think that's how you develop these relationships. I am very appreciative of the bank. They have allowed us to really go out and go build our personal networks. And so I try really hard to get involved in the communities and see where we have a need of helping others. And it's great when the bank allows us to go to be a part of Leadership Abilene, be a part of networking events, not just to help build the relationship with the bank, but for us.
Right.
And so, but I love meeting new people. So
it seems like it just comes so naturally to you. You tend, in my opinion, you emanate a lot of like, I'm always working on myself. I'm all about self-growth. What are some things that you do to help promote growth within your personal life?
Oh man. Okay. Ask that question one more time. Sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that one.
I feel like you're good about like staying fit and, doing things like Leadership Abilene that just better grow you as a person. What are some other things or avenues that you do to promote self-growth?
I love staying busy. I think that's what keeps the engine going with me. I don't like to be bored. Like I was telling you the other day, like I had one day where I was like, I'm going to commit a day of just, recharging my batteries and refocusing on me and just having a self-care day.
Yep.
But I also think, I work in an industry that can be stressful at times. And I think working on yourself, your mental health is so important. Working out, going to go have just dinner or drinks with a friend is great too.
Yeah.
My kid, I love the best part of my day, I tell people, is when I get to go pick up my son from daycare because he's running to me. He's so excited. And when you've had a day that you've just been so drained down, he's there to revitalize you and just be like, there's my happiness running back to me. So I'm a very positive person. I always try and stay positive with anything that I do. Even when we have a challenge or we have a hiccup, I'm always the one that's always like, you know what, we're going to find a positive out of this and we're going to turn this around. I'm a problem solver. I'm always trying to find a solution to fix a problem. And, but yeah, that's just how I focus on my personal growth.
I love that.
Yeah.
Dr. Jody actually just said she's like an entrepreneur within herself, talking about you. So you work for an organization, but it almost does seem like you have your own business going on in that organization. For somebody, I'm going to shift that question a little bit. You are a woman operating in a male-dominated profession, and I am in the same boat. For women, we get a lot of those questions. How do you do it? How do you work being surrounded by so many men? And maybe if people don't take you seriously, have you ever had that experience, or what's that like navigating that?
It was very intimidating coming into a male-dominating industry, but I'm very thankful for the growth of the bank and having them being open to allowing women to break the glass ceiling by allowing women in leadership. The one big thing we really focus on is mentorship, and it helps hearing from those that have been with the bank for 20 or plus years that have seen that type of environment before and where we've come now, and know that, we do have challenges ahead of us, but we're accomplishing so much by putting a woman in one of our boards, putting a woman in a leadership position that no one has ever seen before. Marilyn Shedd, who I could talk days about because she is such a great person to look up to. She's our president of our Abilene region, and she was the first female president in our bank. And she has so much respect in the community, so much respect in our bank. People love her. Such a positive, emulating person. And that is probably one person that I look up to, and I really turn to her to really help bring me up and bring other women up within our industry.
I love that. I think it's so important to find good mentorship too, because they're like a walking example of who you want to be and how you want to model your life after. Yes. You talked a lot about leadership there. What is maybe some good leadership advice for especially somebody maybe going in to own their own business who's going to be managing people?
I've always heard, and this is the best thing I've always heard, is listening. Listening to your people. There's always going to be challenging times in a business, but your people are going to be there to help you pick up. And they're the ones, we always talk about our tellers. Our CEO and chairman, Scott Deeser, has always said that our tellers are the ones that are the frontline workers, and they're the ones that the customers know more than they know him. They're the ones that are asking for the tellers, not him, when it comes to doing business. And he always gives glory to them. I think recognizing your employees is huge as a leader. And giving credit. So I think listening, being a mentor, recognizing employees is so big in all these type of industries that we work in.
Absolutely. I love that. What could you recommend to a small business owner, maybe like a book or a podcast that you've read or listened to that could help them more navigate business stuff or even leadership?
So podcasts I listen to is a lot of 90s pop culture. But Jody recommended a really good one that I'm now going to start reading.
Yes.
This book right here, which is Horst Schulte's books, Excellence Wins. This has really helped with our customer service initiative.
Yes.
He, again, is the founder of Ritz-Carlton. He has really elevated to how we need to serve, how ladies and gentlemen are serving ladies and gentlemen is his status. And so another great thing is LinkedIn. I love going on LinkedIn and reading what other people are doing, seeing what other people are doing. It's a great way to brand yourself and to join forums, really get involved in that community.
Yeah.
But podcast I listen to, if you are in the financial industry, The Girl Banker is a great women's advocacy podcast for women in banking. We talk everything about social media, mentorships, different products and services that we use, advocating to continue to break the glass ceiling. So great forum for those that are working in finance.
That was great. I was actually just going to ask you, like, how could some of your business principles in banking specifically carry over into other businesses? But I feel like you just answered that question, unless you want to add to more to that.
Yeah. So on a marketing aspect, I always tell our new hires and how we do our marketing is that bank marketing is not sexy at all.
Yeah.
It's hard to really market a product that someone down the street has the same product as you. So how do you stand out? How do you make your brand really pop? Right. And the one thing that we really strive on is we want to be relatable. We want to be able to educate our customers too. So I don't know if you know this, but we didn't get into the digital world until 2018.
Oh, wow.
So we weren't part of social media until 2018. Is that not wild?
Yeah,
I know.
That's
so
fairly recent.
We jumped on it. We grew a very good following, engagement, impression since then. We have now started doing trending videos on Instagram. And so that's really helped us stay relatable with the younger demographic. Yeah. I think if you are starting a new business and you're trying to learn how to market, I think following the trends and seeing what fits for your demographic, because we do have different lines of businesses that it may not work on Instagram for what we're trying to promote. Right. It may just have to be something we do traditional marketing for. And, or it may just be a Facebook post, sometimes maybe a Twitter, it just depends. But I think really following the trends, I think educating is so important. what you're doing with the podcast. People are listening to podcasts, they're watching videos. We always, when we go to colleges, we tell them, our biggest goal is to educate younger demographics on financial education because they're not getting it in school. And sometimes parents aren't teaching it either.
Yeah.
We're still having to do budgeting classes and credit classes with adults because they don't establish good credit. And if you can educate folks on what your product is, I think you're going to get a good following and a good customer base.
I love that. Yes. Because you're providing so much value and you're not just trying to push, buy my services, buy my goods,
right?
But it's like, hey, how can I teach you? How can I help you?
Right.
And in turn, it just seems like people are naturally going to want to follow you and be attracted to that. Like you said, be more interested than interesting. Okay. We're going to switch gears now a little bit. So you've talked a lot about business, but I want to know a little bit more personal. You are a mom of a 2.5-year-old. And so what is that like balancing work and being just a boss lady and then being a mom to a 2.5-year-old?
It's not easy as they get older. My one big goal is always to be available to all those around me, but I feel like I need to be more available for my son. Right now, I'm in probably one of my most busiest seasons, and having to balance that to say, I want to make sure I'm available to pick up my son because, again, that's one of the biggest joys that I get to see is when he runs down that hallway is screaming, "Mama!" And so you'll see it too.
Love that.
But it's just all about time management and, focusing on what's more important over what's not. If I'm going to the same event that I've been to going for 5 years, it's okay to skip one. And then sometimes I'm not saying I have FOMO when I don't get to go to these networking events, but in the beginning, when I did come back from, being off of maternity leave, I felt like I was missing stuff. And I felt like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm not networking enough. I'm not gaining value out of this. And I just said, and a lot of women will tell you, the most important thing you can be is being present for your children, that there are other things that can wait.
Absolutely.
And so I always focus on a word every single year. In the beginning of the year, when you're setting goals, I'm like, okay, let's focus on one word. One year it was serenity, and now this year it's say no. Say no to things.
Yeah.
And I have really been focusing on that and just saying, I've got to be more present for my family. I've got to be present for my husband. My sister just gave birth to twins.
Oh my gosh.
And so
yeah,
I want to be there for her.
Yep.
And I know that other things can wait.
Absolutely.
I know that I've established myself to being where I'm at because I had the availability at the time.
Right.
And I feel like I'm at a good place that I can still focus on the things that are most needed.
Absolutely. You're in a different season and your priorities are different, right?
Yes.
Along those lines, do you keep a calendar? Do you keep a schedule? You're super busy. How do you manage all your time?
So the first thing I do when I wake up, or first thing I do before I go to bed and before I wake up is I look at my calendar. I always double check. Okay, what time do I need to get up? How do I need to dress for the day? The big thing that we talk about at the bank is dress for your day. And so make sure that you're being presentable and professional.
Love that.
And making sure I'm available. Communications are done with my husband for pickups, my in-laws, if they need to babysit. So really focusing on having a very organized calendar, because if it's not on the calendar, it's not happening.
Totally. I'm the same way.
Yes.
So you talked a little bit about getting into a different mind space and headspace, setting up your day, just even with the clothes that you're wearing. Let's say you're having an off day, which I don't imagine happens often for Samantha Baker. But if you're having that off day, what sorts of things do you do? Because you got to be in front of people, right? That's your job is marketing and networking. How and what do you do to kind of recenter yourself and get back to where you need to be?
Thankfully I played sports growing up. So it's like, you've got to have an on game no matter what. The moment I step out and I go to work, I know that I represent the bank no matter where I go to, even if I have an off day. So always focusing, like, again, it's all about recharging, putting on some good music, hyping me up. If there's a person in the bank that I go to that's like, hey, I just want to sit and vent for a second. I need to get, I want to get back having a better attitude. I go talk to that person. Sometimes it's like, if I need to walk away from a computer, like today, my coworkers came today and said, hey, we need to walk away from computers. Let's go across the street to Sway and go get coffee. I'm like, let's do it.
Love it.
And I felt recharged,
Yes.
I try not to let negative things get in the way. I try and stay positive, have a good attitude. Some days it's hard. but it's all about staying focused and remembering, that one pin that I wear, that's who I represent. And I also represent my son and my husband, my family too.
Yes.
So
I love that. You tend to bring your authenticity into everything that you do. What are some ways that you try to stay authentic when we're in a culture of, trying to be like everybody else and there's so much comparison? How do you tend to just stay loyal to yourself?
There's a great quote by Teddy Roosevelt that says, comparison's the theft of joy. And so social media is probably the worst place to go and compare yourself to.
Yes.
And a friend and I were just talking about this, about how our mental health is being affected by social media. I have never been a high anxiety type of person. Again, I try to still very leveled with everything that I do, not show a lot of emotion. But I do get very passionate. But when I see things on social and I'm like, am I doing this right? Should I be doing this a different way? Your mind starts thinking. And so a couple friends and I have said, we've got to be more present for each other. We've got to be more present for our families. And I feel like even for my kid, I don't want to have him sitting in front of a TV all day. I want him outside playing, and just sitting outside with him. It just feels a lot more relaxed. I'm not sitting here comparing. Like, we're not especially at the bank and marketing, we'll have people come up to say, well, this person's doing this competitor is doing that. I'm like, that's great. We're doing good. We're doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing. So we're focused. We're driven. We've got a game plan. We're fine.
Yep. I love that. That's so good. And I think anybody could take that advice and run with it. Okay. Wrapping up here. Yep. What is one fun fact that people should know about you?
Ooh. That's funny. I just we went to an AC volleyball brunch on Saturday, and every single player was talking about a fun fact. And I'm like, I don't know if I have one.
You totally do.
Okay. I guess I took third place in a lip syncing contest for a UIL thing in 6th grade.
See?
7th grade?
There you go. What did you lip sync?
The Queen, Britney Spears.
Oh,
so
see,
the Queen of lip syncing.
I love that. That's awesome. Sam, where could people find you if they want to reach out or if they want more content about First Financial?
Yeah, so First Financial is on all social platforms, not TikTok. You can find us there, First Financial Bank, Texas. We love keeping people informed on all financial education. Fraud is rampant right now, so we always want to make sure people are being protective of their assets. Yep. I'm also on social media, not as much because I need to be more present. But I'm at the bank. I'm here at 400 Pine downtown, and I'm always somewhere at a networking event. Always happy to help get people connected.
I love it. Thank you so much for being on here.
You're
we
welcome.
Really appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.